I thought I'd talk to you today about the resources sector and some interesting research that I did to prepare for the new white paper that I'm about to put out, and was having a look at what's going on in terms of the mental health of people who work in the sector, and was absolutely shocked, I think, about how difficult the circumstances are for people who work in this industry, and how a lot of people think that it's about the fly in, fly out stuff, but actually it's not just about the fly in, fly out. A lot of the research shows that people who work in residential mining sectors, or DIDO, the drive in, drive out, or maybe they live in those local communities, are just as likely to be depressed and have high rates of, suicidal ideation. And I'm kind of like, I wonder why that is, or what's so difficult. But there are a number of different reasons why. And I don't want to put my finger on everything and point the finger, but there are a couple of points that I think are important to understand. One is that it seems that a large proportion of the workforce comes from former services members, so ex-military, ex-police, fire, AMBOs, whichever way you want to look at it. And part of that is that they go into the industry, one, because they're trades qualified, but they're also used to kind of being away from home or long periods, working shift work, that sort of stuff. Problem is that I think a lot of those people who come out of those industries, we know that there are, elements of trauma that they've experienced that hasn't been dealt with, and then they pick that up and take those, they're not really coping strategies, but they take those into these environments as well. And so that becomes a little bit problematic for the workforce to begin with. So the other thing is there's a lot of neurodiversity within this workforce, and I want you to think about often people who go and do trades work go there because they think that they're not really cut out to go to university, or they didn't really like school, or they're much better with their hands, understanding all of those things. But that also means that as children they were going through rather difficult circumstances, in the sense didn't really have a great sense of themselves, who they were as people. And then they go and work in these industries that pay them an awful lot of money, but they still don't feel like that's all because of their brain capacity, or that they're necessarily really super smart. And that's not a judgment at all. It's actually about understanding. I work a lot with kids who come in who've got difficulties in school. It's not actually to do with how smart they are, it's to do with the sausage mitzvah of a school system that actually says they have to be forced into doing it this way. And I see this with women who work in construction too, by the way. When you feel that you're, maybe you don't have the same smarts as other people, then your sense of yourself is impacted. Then you go and work in the mining sector, or you go into defence as an 18-year-old, they start paying you an awful lot of money in comparison to some of your friends. And then before you know it, there's it's an unreasonable ego or belief that's built up on the top that says, well, I have value because I can earn good money and I'm doing this particular trade. So the sense of themselves and who they are is built on something that's a false pretense. So this is also part of the problem. Now, if we don't help people to understand those bases behind why they feel the way that they do, we can't help them to be more accepting of themselves and, recognize themselves and how they behave in comparison to other people. Does that make sense? So it's not just a simple matter of FIFO stuff or relationship issues or any of those things. It's a combination of things that builds up, and what we need to do is help the sector learn more about who they are as people, how these things impact them, and why, just going to the pub and having a few beers with your mates is not the way to fix it, because when you wake up tomorrow morning, the same problems are there. All right, so I hope you understand that what I really want to do is try and help people to understand themselves a bit better and have a way to manage their own mental health for themselves, and how we do that as a collective group when we know that these people congregate together, like either through work or through social. It's an essential thing to help normalize the fact that these are common experiences that we all have, instead of judging each other and trying to put each other down for it. All right, I hope that helps. See you soon.